Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're taking a look at the 338 Recon Sniper Rifle. The 338 Recon is an interesting bolt action because it's the only bullpup weapon in the sniper rifle category. The difference between a bullpup and a conventional design is that a bullpup has the magazine well and mechanism behind the trigger group. This allows for the barrel to be set deeper into the stock of the weapon and results in a weapon with an overall shorter length. The bullpup design is often used for assault rifles, carbines and PDWs because in this instance, a shorter design generally makes a weapon more portable and gives it better mobility in close quarters. In the real world, a more portable 338 caliber bolt action rifle would probably make a lot of sense, but in game though, you really don't have to worry about the size and weight of your weapon, so really the only benefit of the 338 Recon's bullpup design is its mobility and hipfire accuracy. Now, the problem with this is that generally speaking, a sniper rifle is already going to be a terrible weapon in close quarters, so even if you do have better moving accuracy and hipfire, it's still not going to be better than a decent pistol. I've said countless times before how I'm not a fan of long-range weapons with bullpup designs because the bullpup benefits are not only redundant on these types of weapons, but they're also balanced out by bad stats elsewhere. The 338 Recon is definitely not an exception to this rule, and it seems like it doesn't really know what role it should be filling. So let's take a look at the stats of this gun and see if we can figure out what it's good for. Just before we start though, bear in mind that this is only my opinion, so hear me out, and if you still don't agree with me, that's fine, but just let me know why in the comment section below. But anyway, the 338 Recon fires at 48 RPM and deals 100 damage out to 12.5 meters, which drops off to its minimum damage of 59 at 150 meters. This puts it into the high damage bolt action category with guns like the M98B, the SRR61 and the Gull, which definitely gives it an edge over all of the other bolt actions at long range. Its rate of fire means that it fires a little faster than the M98B and the SRR61, but it still fires a little slower than the Gull Magnum and a lot slower than many of the 7.62 caliber bolt action rifles as well. If you're a slow and precise, accurate sniper, the 338 Recon fires just fast enough, but if you're used to a high RPM bolt action like the M40, you're probably going to get a little frustrated with the speed of this gun. Now, like I said before, while the 338 Recon has the same base accuracy of 0 as any other bolt action, its bullpup characteristics make it a little more accurate on the move and a little more accurate when firing from the hip. It has a moving ADS spread of 1.125 compared to the average spread of 1.5, and its standing hipfire spread is considerably better, coming in at 3.75 compared to the average hipfire spread of 5. It's kind of debatable how much this will actually make a difference because at all but point blank range, hipfire on this weapon is still going to be ridiculously inaccurate, and you're still going to have a lot of deviation if you fire while moving. It's not really necessary to fire on the move or hipfire at long range targets anyway, so it makes me think that if you really want to engage targets at mid range, why not try out a faster firing bolt action like the M40, a DMR or even a long range pistol instead. Now, I think the most unfortunate thing about the 338 Recon is that to balance out these better stats that you'll probably never use, it unfortunately takes a hit in a few other key areas. It only has a muzzle velocity of 520 meters per second, which is the second worst in the category, a capacity of 6 rounds, which is the worst in the category, and a very slow reload time, coming in third worst in the category. Now, I must admit that I personally don't have a big problem with a slow reload or small capacity on a bolt action, although it doesn't exactly help with the close quarters role its bullpup design is suited to. What's more troubling is the 520 meters per second muzzle velocity, which increases lead and bullet drop, making it a lot harder to hit moving targets and targets at long range. If it's harder to judge where your shot will land, you can't really expect accuracy to rival the M98B or the SRR61. This kind of cancels out the fact that it's slightly more accurate on the move, and it makes its higher RPM and damage model irrelevant too, considering that you'll miss more shots and that you'll need to get in closer to be effective. Now, that's not to say that you can't kill targets with the 338 Recon, it's just statistically not as good as some other rifles in the category. And speaking of other rifles, well, if you take a look at the Gull Magnum, it's literally equal or better in every category, except that it has a faster rate of fire, a much faster muzzle velocity, at the expense of mobility and hipfire accuracy. So bearing all of this in mind, is the 338 Recon even worth using? Well, honestly, I'd have to say no, not unless DICE patch it sometime in the near future to actually give it a viable advantage over the Gull. DICE have done a really good job of fixing the CSLR4, the J&G90 and the goal in the recent fall patch, so I think if they give the 338 Recon the same treatment in the future, it might actually be worth using. I don't think it's the worst bolt action in the category though. I probably think the SV98 takes that award, but I definitely think it's one of the worst, and I don't think I'll play with it again. This is a shame because it is a unique weapon, and it's a weapon that I'd love to see play a competitive role in Battlefield 4. It's just unfortunately not statistically up to that challenge, or at least it's not yet, and something tells me it may never be. But anyway, what do you think of the 338 Recon? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and as always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below, and until next time, see you later, and have a good one.